This is the Swords of Ditto. This video is going to be long. It might get weird, I don't know. Either way, we're going to start a new file and go through the prelude. Just because I think it's worth going through for the lore. Alright, so here we are in the Swords of Ditto. It becomes immediately obvious that this is a Zelda-like. A Zelda-like roguelite. Obviously it apes the style of the 2D Zelda games, A Link to the Past, Minish Cap, Oracles of Seasons, so on and so forth. This is the village. Our sword's here. There's a bunch of stuff we can do here, but I'm gonna skip most of it this run through. The village is always named Ditto something. What besides Ditto is, of course, random. And there's a few people here we could talk to, but none of them have anything interesting to say. So we're just gonna grab our sword and get out of here. Alright, so not only did we learn about MORMO, we also got access to our moveset, which consists of a slash, a roll, and then if you look in the upper left corner, you'll see I have some items. They're called toys in the parlance of the Swords of Ditto, but they're items. Everyone knows. So unlike the old Zelda games, I can't remember if it was like this in Link to the Past sequel, whatever, Link Between Worlds. But you are not locked to a grid. So you can sort of go on diagonals, go anywhere you want. And the combat in this game actually feels pretty alright. There are some fights that I still don't really have a hang of, but for the most part, you hit stuff and that stun locks it, and then you murder stuff. Not too hard. So we can talk a little bit about our starting items. We start with a bow, which does not do that great against shields. We have to roll past this guy and then hit him. We've also got some bombs. Which I did not put to fantastic use. And our last starting item is a torch. So normally this stuff would cost mana. And normally I will get hurt when I get hurt. Because we're in the tutorial, nothing really matters. The torch does light people on fire, which is damage over time and helpful against certain enemies. for now, we're going to skip as much of this as we can. That's going to be a reoccurring theme. And of course, like every good Zelda, we got some pots. Health in this game is actually pretty hard to come by. You won't find it in pots. Occasionally it will drop, but it's pretty rare. So we got the classic. I think they just tell us how to solve this puzzle. Yep. Listen, Puku. I know what a Zelda is. And here we meet Mormo. And that's the Sword of Ditto. Good game. I'll see you next time. Alright, but for real now. So I had to do something a little bit weird. There were some hoops I had to jump through, but basically what's happening is I did one successful run in the game, and now I'm on the second. Because something interesting happens on the second run. We'll talk about that more in a second. But first, whenever you start a new run, you get to choose a badge, who is basically your character. They all start with different stickers or upgrades. I'm just going to go with one that I've used before. It's not quite at max level yet. But it's pretty close up there. The noble one. So when you beat the game, obviously 100 years later, MORMO still comes back. As does our friend, the dung beetle. And we gotta go get ourselves a sword. Again. So something interesting to note, when this game first released, I believe that even when you died and failed, you would have to go through that whole tutorial every single time. And you still have to go through the tutorial every time you start a new run, but I'm told it was much worse. So the reason I'm starting off at the second run is because another change that was made from when this game originally launched is that when you first play the game, your first run, there's no time limit. And I'm kind of giving away the twist here. but when you do your second run and it's the first one was successful, you got a time limit. It makes it a little bit more interesting. So now we're in Dittonwich. It has all the same stuff. Even though the town's layout is procedurally generated, it has all the same shops every time. Some different NPCs, but mostly the same quests. And of course, always the sword. So much like before, we get to challenge MORMO right away. Also much like before, we have all our old starting items, and a few extra ones from my last run, mostly food, which is health items. It also looks like we got some legendary toys too. So I wonder if those are gonna go away. We'll get into like what those are in a second, but I gotta do the murder thing again. Notice everything is much higher level. I am also higher level. Your levels persist through runs. So I think I'm like 10. I was 10 at the end of my last run. We can check our status here. 11. Higher than I thought. So when I come back here next time, this dungeon is going to be very long. Thankfully right now it's pretty short and easy, although you can die here now that the official tutorial is over. Notice in my top right I have a health gauge. I also have the monobar. It's over on the left side. Everything costs energy. Firing the bow costs energy. The sword does not. It's free. But any kind of item you use will cost energy. I'm gonna avoid items right now, because I don't want to mess with that screen yet. Although considering how I'm playing, I might have to. A little health might be nice. I want to avoid that thing in the middle. It will transform me back into a normal human child. Alright, here we go. This looks familiar. I guess we are going to go into our item screen. Let's throw on our torch, our bow, and then some bombs. Alright, so this is the twist that I already spoiled. I have 5 days to complete my appointed tasks, and on the 5th day I fight MORMO no matter what. Alright, so because we missed the first run, we missed a bit of crucial information. My main objective is to find MORMO's anchors, which are 2 dungeons, and completing those dungeons will make the final fight easier. So that is my current objective. I have a whole map to explore, so let's get to it. You're going to see me look at this map a lot. Looks like there's a way through the upper left, so let's check that out. And of course, the map is always randomized. The village is almost always in the center, and the coast is almost always at the bottom. Other than that, though, it gets kind of wacky. All areas also have a level. This is level 12, so not too dangerous. Grabbing these penguins will help increase my bomb count if I can find where the master penguin is. We also got some randomly generated caves. And before I die, because I'm low on health, let me have some milk here. So it looks like I do get to keep my items from the last run. Those would be the golf club and the laser ring. I say this a lot, but we can talk about those later. Right now, we're going to talk about dungeons. So there's always a random rule in effect in dungeons, sometimes 2. Health regenerates, but food can't be eaten. That's kinda rough. But we'll see how long this dungeon is. I really shouldn't be wasting my time here, although I think time stops when you are in one of these things. I haven't gotten that many chances to play the timed runs, so this is going to be an interesting experiment. Probably gonna need something to hold that down. Like that block. So much like a proper Zelda would, we have a lot of puzzles that involve hidden switches. Unlike a Zelda, our arrows can go pretty much over everything. We got some block pushing. Where would we be without pushing blocks onto buttons? The creme de la creme of Zeldas. So the truth is, puzzles in this game, not super complicated. I've never run into anything that makes me think particularly hard. But, you know, for being randomly generated, it's pretty serviceable. So we got a sticker. Let's talk about stickers. Stickers are equipment, more or less. So I started out with a few. So for example, this one means I take 25 less damage during the day. It's pretty nice. What did that one I just get? A chef's hat. That sounds like it's going to be pretty useful, so let's throw that sucker on. I've got a higher drop rate sticker. What else do I got? Increased attack power sounds pretty good. Let's throw that guy on. And then I think we'll be alright on everything else. Sticker code we can use to get a sticker at a shop. So there's an interesting thing about this game. In every treasure room, there's a teleporter that goes back to the main room. I think it's to save time. It also might be to avoid failure states, although I've never run into an instance where I get to the bottom of a dungeon and can't find my way back normally. But I get the feeling it's there, like, just in case that happens. There's another penguin down here. Oh damn, I'm getting lucky. So this is what I was looking for, a toy dungeon. Toy dungeons are, well, they're dungeons. They are where you get your special items. In contrast to anchor dungeons, where you use your items. So it's kind of like a two-part dungeon. Or it's kind of like a dungeon was split into two parts, more specifically. The part where you get the item, and then a completely different part where you use the item. So I'm thinking... Let me look at how much stuff I have. Health is a very important resource. Which sounds like an obvious thing to say. What I'm trying to say is food is an important resource. And food costs money. I'm trying to see if I have enough food to do this dungeon. And I'm thinking I might want to head back to town first. So this game has an ocarina, except in this game it's a kazoo. We toot on this motherfucker, and we can go to anywhere we've unlocked a kazoo station. Town is always unlocked by default. So let's take a quick tour of town. Specifically two places. The first one, Ditto Mart. It's just a generic item shop, mostly for food. So I'm gonna buy some milk, hot dog. I'm gonna buy everything. I've got the munchies, and I'm hella rich right now. I saw a guy down here. We can talk to him. He has a quest. You can tell by the star over his head. He wants me to get 11 glow sticks. So I gotta go out into the forest. I gotta find some monsters that are having a raid. And ruin their day. A rave, rather. And then the last place we're gonna visit is the sticker shop. Which is, as you might expect, a place you can buy stickers. Toy Store sells some lesser toys that aren't super useful, so I'm going to ignore it right now. But we can trade in our sticker code with this frog here. For a few stickers. These are pretty good. Sadly, we cannot lick the frog. This is a child-friendly game. Alright, that done. Let's pop back over to the toy dungeon. We'll get this show on the road. What does pop out of the grass most of the time is money. And occasionally, crystals. You've probably seen me grab a few of those. They are a separate resource used to either get extra lives or turn time back. And we can do that at a whale station if I can find one of those. I think I passed one like very early in the game. Alright, so one of the staples of toy dungeons are these things. They move walls around. Also, I'm probably supposed to do something in here. Here we go. The bow is an invaluable tool in pretty much every dungeon. Nice jump. This guy's a dick. You can't actually hurt him, but he will change things around for just, you know, whenever he feels like it, for no reason, like that. Where I was getting stuck there. So that door up there needs a key, as you might have been able to tell. We'll probably find one of those somewhere around here. And time seems to be stopped. I'm not sure why. Another one of the types of puzzles is moving this block around. Although getting over there might be... Nope, never mind. It should get me a key, likely. Also, these guys drain your energy. But into the pit he goes. You fuck. Alright. We also always start with the dungeon map right away. Any room we've been to, we can see. This game is very generous with the maps. That is a landmine. I don't want to step on that. I'd rather just ignore that guy. He's a pain to kill. So that thing up there is the big door, which you need a big key to open. Yeah, let's not do that. But I'm not sure where that key is. I'm gonna guess somewhere to the right. Also notice how there's a disco party whenever I step on those platforms. Those give me energy. Nice puzzle. Real big brain stuff over here. Like I said, nothing too complex. If you're looking for real head scratchers, this is not your game. But I appreciate the effort. We also got some lore. I have not read any of these because I just don't care. But you can take a peep at it if you want. They go over the origins of the land of Ditto. And none of them, the few that I read, have been particularly interesting, so I just kind of skip them. Not smart stuff on my part. Alright, this should be the big key. A big old key. And then I could warp back to the start of the dungeon, but it's probably easier just to go this way. So one of the reasons I wanted to have a lot of food is because this next fight is hard as fuck. I still haven't figured out how to be good at it. But whenever you get to the end of a toy dungeon, before you get the toy, you have to fight a fallen sword. And the computer's much better at this game than I am, and they have a lot more items than I do. Alright, well, that one went better than usual. Never mind, I'm a pro at this game. Alright, I think I already had the golf club, but whatever. Not my favorite item. It's not one that's going to see much use outside of the specific dungeon it needs it for. So let's see if we can find the anchor dungeon. I got pretty lucky because there's like a whole wide world to explore. It does pay to kill enemies. You do get a little bit of experience every time you do. Not a lot, but enough. Most experience you get from quests or from completing dungeons. This is a boss. They kind of wander around. I'm not going to fuck with him because he will ruin my life. Let's get rid of this guy. So once you do this, you can start a trial. Basically, you kill enemies within a certain time limit, you get a prize. It's kind of hard to do. I have not been successful yet. You're a rat. I think that's all of them. Oh, now we got a rock. So now I can make a poison weapon. I probably won't, but, you know, I could. Anyway, we were talking about crystals. I have almost 600, so I'm going to talk to this whale lady here, and I'm going to ask for an extra life if I die. I'm also going to ask for some extra time. Although I don't think I can do that yet. I might have to wait till a day passes before I can actually rewind time. Alright, so that was a bust. At least I got an extra life. Let's keep trying to find this next dungeon. Unfortunately, I've almost run out of things to say until then. But can we talk about Zelda? That's what I'm really here to do. I just want to talk about Zelda. I got my Zelda tier list prepared. Here's my tier list. Best Wizrobes, Link to the Past. Worst Wizrobes, Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild got some stanky ass looking Wizrobes. Banana looking motherfuckers. It's terrible. It's really shameful design, and it takes a 10 out of 10 game all the way to, personally, a 0 out of 10 for me. I can't get into my Zeldas if we don't have good Wizrobes. What else? What else about Zeldas? Skyward Sword is a travesty, and I feel like I can't talk about Zelda without saying that. I mean, in theory, it's a great idea to have every enemy be a puzzle. That sounds really Zelda. Unfortunately, in practice, when the goddamn controller can't tell if I'm waggling left or right, I'm just flailing around and nothing's happening. Not so good. Best Zelda, of course, Majora's Mask. Best 2D Zelda, Link to the Past. Breath of the Wild is still really fucking good, even though it has bad Wizrobes and kind of bad dungeons. Other 3D Zeldas, who cares? Not so hot. Whatever. Other 2D Zeldas, the one with the Windfish was good. And I think the Oracle games were okay. I don't remember the Wizrobes in the Oracle games, but I'm pretty sure they were just Link to the Past Wizrobes, so it's fine. Very particular about my Wizrobes. Equipment breakage is a fuck. And if you have any opinions about Zelda, please share them. As incorrect as they are, I will listen without judgment. Except you fucking jokers who are going to be like, well, actually, the best Zelda is the Philips CDI Zelda. Which is the incorrect choice if you're going with non-canon Zeldas. Obviously, Captain N had the best Zelda. Please. Don't even come at me with that shit. I'm gonna get on my Game Boy and fly away. Anyway, I found the dungeon I was looking for. So in here we should be able to put our new item to use. So it looks like double XP for this dungeon, but stickers effects will not happen. Also, let's equip the golf club, because we're gonna need it. We'll put that in place of the bomb. And now we're gonna do golf puzzles. Which mostly amount to put the ball in the hole. You jerk. Alright, looks like we need a key for that. So at certain levels of your, not your badge, but just your normal level, like I'm level 12 or whatever, you do unlock new attacks. At some point you unlock a spin attack, you unlock a roll attack, which I think I can do right now. I just roll and press a button and I can attack. I don't think those are disabled in this dungeon, even though stickers are disabled. running a little low on health. Alright, so this is the second kind of golf puzzle. Basically, you just want to hit the golf ball onto all the platforms and light them up. And then you're good. Looks like I might need a bow. This one I'm not too sure about. Let's wait till it comes back around to my side. So that looks like the big key. Or not, could just be a small key. It's not the size of the key that matters, it's what you do with it. Also, when you level up, you get all your health back. Probably noticed that before, but I'll just point it out now, because I forgot about it. So let's check over to the right side here. The golf ball does hurt enemies if it runs into them. Alright, there's the big door. The only question is, how do I open that door? Or where's the key to open that door? Friendly fire is a thing in this game. Thankfully we don't have any friends, but enemies do. And it tends to take care of things surprisingly well, actually. Alright, what do you want from me? Oh, there we go. Just gotta sink the ball. Damn, no scoped? Got the big key, and the door should just be right around here. And now to the boss. So instead of a fallen sword, we get an actual boss, kind of. You usually have to fight some kind of Yidu. And unfortunately, the item we just got, or the item we used throughout the dungeon, really doesn't come into the fight. It's more you just slash this guy until he dies. And he'll keep spawning minions. He does a lot of damage if he hits you, but it's pretty easy to get out of the way. Yeah, the golf club doesn't really come into play. It's kind of disappointing, because you know, you expect a Zelda boss to require you to use the item you just got, but no can do. I mean, I can use it, it just doesn't do much. But it turns out the anchor was here all along. Who would have thought? Alright, that's a good place to stop. That's part 1 of the Sword of Ditto. Next time we'll get the other anchor, and then hopefully beat MORMO.